We listen as Jefferson tries to explain his side of the story. A story about a wound that came from a letter Adams wrote to the founder of Unitarianism. A letter that Jefferson used to lampoon Adams. We will see how closely related politics and religion can be.
Monticello, again. June 15, 1813. Of Lindsay's memoirs,
I had never before heard, and scarcely indeed of himself. Religion, I suppose, is the scope of his book. In one of my unauthorized published letters to you, I merely stated that Lindsay wishes to believe that no one religion advocates freedom. This was not the doctrine of Reverend Priestley, and I honored him for the example of liberality that he set to his order. In another letter, I discussed our differences over the improvability of the mind. In science, in ethics, in government. Those who advocated reform of those institutions maintained that no definite limits can be assigned to progress. The enemies of reform, on the other hand, denied improvement and advocated steady adherence to the principles, practices, and institutions of our fathers, which they represented as the consummation of wisdom, beyond which the human mind could never advance. Although in the passage of your letter, alluded to this in the now famous letter, you predict that freedom of inquiry will produce nothing more worthy of transmission to posterity than the principles, institutions, and systems of education received from their ancestors. I do not consider this as your deliberate opinion. You possess yourself too much science not to see how much is still ahead of you, unexplained, unexplored. My party ascribed these thoughts to their real authors, the Pickerings, the Walcutts, the Tracys, with whom I supposed you were in a state of duress. About facts, you and I cannot differ, because the truth is our mutual guide. Thomas Jefferson.
And now, Adams takes the opportunity to bare his soul.
June 25th, 1813, from Quincy. Your favor of the 15th
came to me yesterday. And it is a pleasure to discover that we are only 9 days apart. During the 3 years that I resided in England, I was somewhat acquainted with Lindsay, Disney, Farmer, Price, Priestley, and many others. Lindsay was a singular character. Unitarianism and biblical criticism were the great characteristics of them all. All were learned, scientific, and moral. All professed friendship to America. I wish you could have lived a year here in Boston. You would see how spiritual tyranny and ecclesiastical domination are beginning in our country, at least struggling for birth. I would trust these liberal Christians in London or in Boston with power, just as soon as I would Calvin or Cardinal Lorraine, just as soon as I would the Quakers or the Methodists, just as soon as I would Voltaire, Hume, or Gibbon, nay, just as soon as I would Robespierre. Yet, in this eternal battle for power, checks and balances, Jefferson, however you and your party ridicule them, are our only security. Every species of these Christians would persecute deists, as soon as either sect would persecute another, if it had been unchecked and unbalanced power. Nay, the deists would persecute Christians, and atheists would persecute deists, with an unrelenting cruelty, as any Christians would persecute them or one another. Know thyself, know human nature. upon the whole, I think this is
Enough
enough
for
for
one
one letter.
John
And
Adams.
now.